Now, my final thoughts on this debate that I was having with these individuals on Twitter with regards to abortion, these individuals who are trying desperately to show that God supported abortion because of this obscure verse in Numbers chapter 5. And we have proven, A, that they use initially a logical fallacy of the argument to authority, then that they cherry-picked the translation of the Bible that supported their point to the exclusion of all others. Then we proved that the word that they were that they were hanging all their hopes on, the word miscarry, does not actually appear in the original Hebrew. Not only in that verse, but not in the book of Numbers at all. One final point. About my bona fides, or bona fides, however you want to say it. I've been studying the Bible, not just reading it, but studying it for 30 years. I've been actively preaching up until recently for pretty close to 20 years. Maybe over. I don't know. I didn't really keep track. And my actual degree, my primary degree, is in nursing science. I have, however, studied linguistics at the university level. But I do not have a theology degree. But I don't need a theology degree, and neither do you. Nobody needs a theology degree, just like nobody needs a law degree to understand what the Constitution says. All you've got to be able to do is read and comprehend what you're reading and have an open mind, a thirst for the truth. No agenda when you are going into these things. That's all you need. Okay? But I could have a PhD in theology. It would not be enough for the people who are arguing this point. Because that's not what they care about. They don't care about the degrees of the people who wrote the NIV Bible or compiled the NIV Bible. They don't care about that. They are going to believe what they want to believe. Like most people, they're going to believe what they want to believe. There are actually very few people out there who believe what they believe based on the facts, based on truth. Very few people. So, I didn't do this to convince them. I didn't engage them on Twitter to convince them. I'm not doing these videos to convince them, because I can't convince them. Their minds are made up. Nothing is going to change their minds except them. The reason that I did this is I was using their argument as a foil so that I could show other people who might be watching how to respond to that argument and similar arguments. And I'm sure that there are some so-called Christians out there who are going to be like,
But Doc, you need to be going after those, and you need to be actively pursuing them, and you need to, because we want everybody to be saved and everybody to have salvation and stuff.
let me tell you something. And this is another thing that's in the Bible, whether you like it or not. Everybody's salvation, mine, yours, everybody else's, has nothing to do with me or somebody else getting them to relent. I cannot save anybody. Every single person's salvation is up to that particular individual. Now, something that you will not argue with me about is that we Christians, we Christians are supposed to be like Christ. And I defy anybody to show me one example of when Christ chased somebody down and forced them to relent. What Christ did was he presented the facts. He preached. People showed up. Maybe they listened, maybe they didn't. Whether they listened or whether they didn't was entirely up to them. And it's entirely on them. Your salvation, whether you're saved or whether you're not, is entirely up to you. And there's a reason for that. Because if you don't get saved, you will be standing before Christ. At the end of days, you're going to be standing before Christ, the white throne. There ain't going to be any lawyers and there ain't going to be a jury. It's just going to be you and him and a couple of books. And if your name isn't written in the book of life, then he's going to open the other book. And the other book is going to be filled with every single thing you've done. Because there are two ways to get into heaven. One is to be saved, and the other one is to be perfect. And the reason that your salvation, to whether or not you're saved, is entirely up to you is so that you will have no excuse when Jesus opens that second book to go through everything that you've ever done in your life. You won't have an excuse and say, well, nobody told me, so-and-so never told me, or so-and-so didn't chase me down, and so-and-so didn't give me enough information. No, it doesn't work like that. People aren't saved by information anyway, for the most part. Logical arguments, very, very, very few people are saved by logical arguments. Most people are saved because of a spiritual awakening. So, I can't save those people. Only they can save themselves. Not my job to convince them. Just my job to present the facts. If they accept them, fine. If they don't, as my old boot camp chief used to say, OFW. I'd imagine the O is O, and the W is W, and the F, you can probably figure that out. Anyway, if you like what I was talking about, if you like the content, hit the like and subscribe button, and I will talk to y'all later.